everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Tuesday Night Knit Chat Cafe. We're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. And first, like we always do, we just want to make sure that everything's coming through and you can see us and hear us. And my name is Noelle, and this is my friend,
Kelly.
And this is a mostly knitting podcast, although we do sometimes, get involved in some other crafty things, but but mainly knitting. And it's been a week.
Where did 7 days go? That's all I want to know. I don't know how the time goes so fast.
No, I know.
They can hear us all the way in Australia, so I guess we are good to go. Thank you, Kim. Even if it is tomorrow. So it's already Valentine's Day. I don't know. Is that something that,
if they have
that's
that.
what I mean. There in Australia. Is that something that is that a holiday that's celebrated worldwide? Noelle and I were talking about this before we came on the air. We both agree that it's not one of our favorite holidays. We like to we share the love every day of the year, not just on Valentine's Day. I think it's sort of one of those, and Noelle, you hit it on the head. I think it's one of those made up holidays for consumerism. So anyway, tonight.
But you know what? Having said that, I still like to. I mean, the kids really enjoy it, right? So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Marianne is checking in from Cabo.
Hi, Marianne.
I have to tell you, you posted a picture of your husband, and I've never met your husband, but let me tell you, like from the side profile, he could be my husband. I sent the picture to my kids. They were laughing hysterically. They're like, oh my God, it's Pappy. And he's back in Cabo because we were just there in December. So I will have to share back a photo to you of Mike because it's pretty funny. They do look very, very similar. So, and I'm heading out tonight right after. So
you're leaving me.
I'm leaving you.
You're leaving me on my couch.
Yes, on your couch. Yeah, you'll have to do a week without me. I just sort of booked a very last minute, like I booked it yesterday afternoon, and we are leaving tonight. We are headed to Saint Martin, and it is 85 degrees every day there, and the sun is shining. So I'm just trying to get organized today and get a suitcase packed. And it's been a little bit of chaos in my house here today. So as I said, just trying to organize, somebody to take care of the house and everything while we're away, and Roxy, of course. So it's been a bit of a busy day. Yeah. So I feel sort of pulled in a lot of different directions. But anyway, we are here tonight. And so we can say that we're celebrating Valentine's Day tonight. And we will just share the love. We are sharing the love. Well, no, I'm sharing something else because I have Valentine's treats for some lucky winners tonight. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But okay.
So we want to say welcome to everybody. We're so happy that you choose to join us every week on Tuesdays because it makes our week. It's something that we look forward to, and it just amazes me every week when I go in and I see the chat beforehand and everybody chatting with each other. And we want to say hi to Barbara because Barbara said this was her first time catching us live. So welcome, Barbara. Yeah. And Barbara's working on a love note tonight. So how appropriate is that for the Valentine's Day season?
I know. I said tonight also when I hopped in, I'm like, Noelle, I said, you have an entire closet full of pink and tonight you show up in gray, but you do have some tones of pink. And she said, well, I think Valentine's Day is red. And she goes, furthermore, we should have wore our love notes tonight. And that didn't cross my mind. But also I see some people here chatting about my trip. Do not fret. I am taking you all with me. Next week, we will be, I will be live from Saint Martin. So hopefully
it always works out if we're still in the same time zone. It just gets a little tricky if we're in time zones that don't exactly mesh up.
I think it's maybe 2 hours different. It's not a lot, maybe an hour or two. I just can't quite remember like from where I travel, what the time zones are. But anyway, I know that it will be good. Pardon me?
But I said I didn't think it was, but maybe it is. I don't know. Like I thought most of the Caribbean was the same as us.
It could very well be.
So
I
guess we'll find out.
It would be really nice if the time was earlier there because then, we could be outside during the day, but it does get dark pretty quick, 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. So if the time zones are the same, I'll have to find a well-lit spot inside. Otherwise we will be we will be in the dark. That's hard to knit in the dark. So yeah.
I have noticed it is starting to stay light a little bit longer out and get light a little bit earlier in the morning than what
yes, I am noticing that too.
Light coming back. Yeah. Yep. So
yeah.
Okay, so again, welcome everybody, and we're going to talk about our knitting. Or did you have any questions? I know I didn't have any questions this week. Did you have any questions?
I had a couple of questions that were emails, and I've addressed those privately. It was some questions about yarn that I'd used in a project and how much. So I took care of that, and so we're good to go. We're good to go from here.
Okay, and if anybody does have any questions that you'd like us to kind of maybe talk about or see what we can find out anything about, like just email us at the knits and pieces podcast@gmail.com. And if we can find answers, we would gladly share them. And if we don't know the answers, guaranteed someone in the group will know the answers. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what do you want to start with? What we're wearing?
Let's start with that. That's an easy topic. Okay. That's something I know the answer to.
Okay.
Do you want to start first? Go ahead.
Sure. Okay, I am wearing my calabash sweater, and this is a pattern by Beth McDonald Stone. And I did it as a test knit, but the pattern has been released now. So this one is done in, my base is Full Moon Fibers, and it is their 100% Rambouillet. And I think the color was called Fresh Waters. It's an absolutely gorgeous non-superwash yarn, and it is a little bit tonal, but I think the tonal works really well when you've got a reverse stocking stitch background, and then it really lets these this color work up at the top really shine. And the color work up at the top is done with the Knitting Loft's Care, which is their, I believe it's 70% silk, 30% mohair, but it's just an absolutely luxurious yarn. It's a little bit textured, but it's got an amazing sheen to it. This color is called Baby Doll, and it does have some pinks in it. So I do have a little bit of pink on, so it does have a little bit of pink in it. The sweater was fun to knit. Down, when you get down to the yoke down here, so down, if you look down at the very bottom of the color work, if you're looking top down, you get some quite long floats. So when I did those, I actually used the ladder back jacquard technique, which is a technique that enables you to create a double layer of fabric. So you're catching your floats on the back, but you don't have anything peeking through to the front of your sweater. So the tutorial, and I will link it in the show notes, the tutorial that I use to do that is by, what's her name again?
Suzanne Bryan.
Suzanne Bryan. Yes, because I found it for me. And again, there's lots of different tutorials out there, but for me, I found that one super easy to follow. So I will link that in the show notes. It's super easy. If you've not ever tried it, give it a try. It is very easy. I mean, for a long time, I kind of avoided anything with long floats because I didn't want to do that. And really, once I did it, it's a super easy technique. So. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing.
Okay, and I am wearing the Heartwarmer Tee by Justina Lorkowska. And this is, unfortunately, I do not have any photos of it because I realized just before here that I never went back in and updated my Ravelry page. Shame on me. So I will get on that when I'm back home and get that fixed up. I'm terrible sometimes for going in and doing photos. But anyway, this is, it's a very cropped sweater, and it was a lot of fun to do because there's all kinds of the lace patterns change throughout the sweater. There are baubles, and we were talking about baubles last week.
Yeah. We were.
So there's a lot going on in this sweater, and I really enjoyed making it. I used the Sonder yarn Sunday morning, not the DK, which is a fingering weight, and it is a 75-25 BFL. Is it BFL and Massam?
Yes.
Yep. And this colorway is called Free Spirit, and I love this color, and I think it's a really good day, or a really good color for a Valentine sweater. But I actually get a fair bit of wear out of this sweater. It was, like I said, it was really engaging to make. Let me just pop the banner down. There we go. So you can see it a little bit more. So like I said, it is quite cropped, but it's got this really pretty lace at the bottom as well. I do have I've got a shirt on underneath, like a burgundy camisole, just because I don't know. Probably didn't need it. The lace is not that open, so you definitely could wear it that way. I also like it that the baubles are not too big.
Super big.
Because
No
some
super
people
big
had
baubles.
said that they said, well, we don't want to bobble sort of at chest area, but rest assured it does kind of sit above,
A little
like
bit
it's
up,
on
yeah.
it's on the high bust, I guess, right? So it's not like, the baubles could be misconstrued for anything.
And when you do the baubles in fingering weight yarn, you don't get as big a bauble as when you get into something if you're working like on a fisherman rib that's got the Aran yarn, right?
That's right. That's right. So anyway, I really like the sweater. I would knit something like this again because it was such a fun and engaging. It kind of reminded me, like when I just finished the Deep Dean sweater. So it's where you've got something different going on. It really holds your interest.
Yep. And you don't get stuck in that, I've done the fun part and now I've got all the just plain stockings.
Yeah, there was no stockinette to do. And then this is kind of like a broken rib, I believe it is. Look at that, another broken rib pattern.
There
just
you go.
before we even knew that we were like really into broken ribs. So yeah, it's got a lot going on, a lot of really fun elements. And somebody's saying they don't see the Heartwarmer tee on Ravelry. Well, I know that it's on there because that's where
it will be linked in the show notes. So because I'll link Kelly's project, even though there's no pictures. I will link Kelly's project.
All of my details are in there.
Ravelry page. Yeah, you just don't have pictures, right?
Well, now I'm thinking it is called the Heartwarmer tee, is it not?
I think so.
Okay. Yes, you know what? It's two separate words, though. I sort of led you astray when I typed it in. I've still got the tab open at the top of my computer. Try the two separate words, or look up Justina Lorkowska, but that's probably more difficult to spell than, yeah, separate the words. It's Heartwarmer, two separate words. Thanks, Pat. That's what she's saying too. Yes. Okay. All right.
Okay. So what do we want to do now? Do you have any finishes?
I do. Did you have any questions at all? Did we have any Q&A? Holy mackerel, we are like rolling along. We'll be out of here before 8 o'clock tonight.
They probably didn't want it to go on and on like last week when we talked about Google Bubble. It was like, okay, goodness. Once was enough.
Yes, yeah. Don't take them down that rabbit hole again.
No.
I do have some finishes. Okay, yes. Let's do finishes and then
we'll do
let's do a giveaway. Yes. Okay. I have 2. How many do you have?
2.
Okay, you start.
You go first. I went first with sweaters with what we're wearing. So you go first.
Okay. First I have some socks. And I had to go running upstairs to grab the pattern because I couldn't quite remember the name of the pattern and I should have gotten it back to the right page. But this is from the Mary Maxim website. Yes. And it is called the, so never mind what the name is because the name caused a lot of difficulties. Go by the number. So the actual pattern number, if you're looking it up, it's a free pattern on Mary Maxim, but look for this number. It's the FP, probably stands for free pattern, 8172. And it is called the Perfectly Paired Toe Up Sock. And this was like a very cool thing for me to do because for as long as I have been making socks, I have never made a pair of socks like this. And the description kind of caught me too, because they said that this is a traditional pair that young girls would all have been taught how to knit these socks and they would have learned it at the elbows of their aunties or moms. And I thought that was just such a cool description of a sock.
Yeah.
So I made these using this colorway. They look so big on camera, but I assure you they're not because they are a ladies 8 to an 8.5. They're not that big. So, and this is using yarn that I bought at Mary Maxim's, and it is called the Perfectly Paired Duo. Funny how that goes together, right? And I don't know what colorway this is. I think the colors are just numbered.
I think the colors might, yeah.
Yes. So, but the yarn is made in Turkey and it's a gradient. So it started with the dark, worked its way out to the light. I didn't want to keep going because I already made these a little bit longer than I would normally make socks for myself. And I just thought they were starting to get a little bit long. And I was completely okay with it ending in this gold color. What I did wrong, or maybe not wrong, it's a design element, it's a choice. What I might have done differently if I were doing this again, I think I was supposed to start after the white thread.
Oh,
So
okay.
I ended up getting this little white bullseye on both toes, So you have
as long as it's on both.
Yeah, that's what I
right?
mean. So
Yeah.
you buy 2 of these. They come in a pack of 2, and it was a really good price. It was Mary Maxim. The yarn feels very nice to work with. And so anyway, I may have left that off if I were to do that again. Now I know you got some of the same yarn. So when you go to knit yours,
Yeah, I'll have to see.
remember this and see if you
Yep.
have a white start as well. Because I think
you started from the middle of
the
the
middle.
skein.
Yes,
Okay.
but see, I'm thinking it might have looked really nice just to have a brown toe. But anyway, but the construction on this is super cool because it kind of makes, I don't know if I can show it, but it makes like a box on the toe. And I've never done a toe construction like this. So this was what was new for me. So you start out with a traditional Turkish cast on, but then instead of increasing over the 2 needles, top and bottom, you add in, so you use double points. You could use circular, like a magic loop, but I was following the pattern like the Turkish auntie said. And so what you do is you add in another double point. So you have your top needle, you have a bottom needle, and then you add 1 on each side. And it's the side that you do the increases on. So what you end up getting is this, kind of a box, a sock box. And it was a really clever construction. So I thought it creates these, you can see right there, this really nice sort of increase, not at any pressure point where your toes are going to rub or anything. But I thought it really set me up nicely to do something up the front of this sock. And I chose to do, since we've been doing all things riptide, I just added the little riptide pattern in there. And it also gives you this, because it has a very cool toe, it has an equally cool heel. And I think this might be, I feel like this is a strong heel, or maybe not, or maybe something similar, but this is what you get for the heel. You get this really nice box construction again. And then it's sort of, once you do the box construction and you've, you don't short row your way. Well, you sort of do. You kind of short row your way through, and then you're just ready to start knitting up the leg. So you get this. This is a really cool construction. I will make these again. I will for sure make these again. And I was kind of questioning what the fit was going to be like and how this might feel like at the heel. Everything feels good. I've worn them like around the house, tried them on, and I'm really, really happy with them. And so then you knit up, and then you just cast off. And then I did a 2x2 rib at the top, and then I cast off using the sew and bind off. Really fun sock. I have never made anything like them before.
I've done that toe before, but it was called a gusset toe. And the way they had you do it is you still did it on a circular needle, but you just marked where your increases were, because when you're doing it on a circle, your increases would be in the middle of the one side as opposed to on each end of it. Right, to get that construction. So it is possible, if you didn't want to do it like on 4 needles, that you actually can do it on the, it's just you have to mark them.
Put in some stitch markers, yes. So Mindy's asking again what the name of the sock pattern is. So it was on the Mary Maxim site, and it is called pattern FP8172.
Okay, and I have marked that. I will link that in the, I know I linked it before when we talked about it, but I will link it in the show notes.
Yeah. So and then, I mean, you can very easily turn this, once you've downloaded it, you can turn that into a PDF and drop it into Knit Companion if you so choose. Because I did make, I've got sort of lots of notes going on in here. I was working off the paper for a while, but I'm I'm an iPad girl. I like having my patterns on that.
Yeah, me too.
I could barely find this today, so I don't know where it might be next time I need it, but I am definitely going to make those socks again. And I think it was the type of a pattern that lent itself really well to the gradient yarn, but I also think it would be pretty just in a plain color. I think you could do a lot of different things in here. You could put in a small cable. You could do like a shell stitch. You don't have to put anything in at all, actually, but I just thought it sort of set itself up nicely to have a little bit of a detail. And I like having a detail on either side of the foot, because I know I say this all the time, but I have that high instep. So I don't like to have something right on the top of my foot. So
I like to have something on both sides too, because when I knit raw socks and I only put it up one side.
He wears them wrong.
He always wears them inside, like he has the pattern going down the inside, and I'm like, they're wrong. So for his, I try to put something down both sides so that, and I know if it doesn't bother him, it shouldn't bother me, but
yeah. Okay, so Barb, there's a couple of questions here. Firstly, Barb, I use Knit Companion on my iPad. I have used it for quite a number of years at this point, and I could not knit without it at this point either. And I think it's really reasonable.
Yes.
We were talking to somebody about this the other day. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 for a year. So I couldn't knit without it. And I lost that one. Somebody else was asking who we are on Ravelry. The name at the bottom of the screen is who I am everywhere. That's on Instagram, The Tangled Stitch. On Ravelry, I'm also The Tangled Stitch. I am just The Tangled Stitch. I should have called the hot mess.
Mine is a little different, but again, that is all in the show notes. There's actually direct links in the show notes. If you click on it, that will actually take you to our Ravelry pages. So
Patricia said that she gave a pair to a friend, and her friend did the same thing as Ross, drove her crazy, right? Yes.
I know, so like if they don't bother him, they're not bothering him. I shouldn't let it bother me, but
anyway. There's lots of people in here that are saying they really are hooked on Knit Companion as well. You can try it if you haven't tried it yet and you want to. There is a free version that you can use for as long as you like. There's no timeline on it. You could keep using the free version forever, but the paid for version gives you a few more options that I find really useful. Mostly creating charts out of a pattern, like making a chart all by itself, getting it off the page. It's just so that I can make it bigger. And my most favorite thing about the chart is that it has this sort of highlighted marker that goes up. All you do is you tap your screen and it advances a row. So I always know where I am. And as soon as I shut the iPad off, even if I had lost my paper pattern and I didn't know where I was, the iPad never forgets where I was. And I just turn it back on and it's exactly where I left it. So, you know, when you have those languishing whips that have been sitting around for a couple of years and you pick it up, you go, where the heck was I? Knit Companion still remembers. So it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yep. And there's also that you actually can write notes in it as well. You can write notes right on the pattern. You can actually type in notes underneath. So, you know, if there's things that you think you're not going to remember, there's a note thing down at the bottom. You can put that in. One of my favorite features is when you're doing something, whether it be color work, whether it be lace, cables, something that's got a lot of charts, you actually can meld all your charts together instead of if you do, like say you had a paper pattern, you keep having to go to the page that your chart was on. And Knit Companion, you can put them all together and align them so that you can still look at your pattern right across the row. Plus you can make it bigger if you need to look at it bigger. You can make it smaller if you need to see what the next couple of rows are. So yeah, I don't know what I would do without it too, especially for when you get into more complicated patterns.
And yes, Kim, you're right. Very Pink Knits has some very good tutorials on how to use the program. I'm not going to say it's the most intuitive program. I had to go through a few tutorials to learn some of the more in-depth features as well. But you know, once you know it, and it's like anything else. It has a little bit of a learning curve, but I find it an extremely valuable tool, and I don't think I could be without it.
Well, there seems to be discrepancies in here as far as the price, and someone said that paid the higher price that it was for an Android version. Like I know mine's for my iPad and my iPhone, and I believe I've paid around $25 a year. Now, my subscription comes due in April, so whether it's still going to be the same at that point, I don't know. But I know I have not paid $40, but I don't know if that's just, like I said, one person did say that it was an Android version, so you would just have to go in and check what the prices are. So it may not be the same depending on what device you're using. So, and again, mine's coming due, so I don't know.
Mine, I think it's in October.
I think
Susan is asking if it works best on an iPad. You can use it on your phone, or I have heard that it is more iOS friendly than it is Android friendly, but I think that they're making updates all the time. So I think it has really improved. I'm not an Android user. And there have been times where I will pull it up on my phone as well. But for me, I just, I like having that iPad to see the size of the chart. Then I don't have to have it, so close to me. But if it's not like a charted pattern and I just wanted some information, I was working on something, then yes, I can definitely pull it up on my phone and have a look at it pretty easily.
And it's once you put your patterns in there, if you actually put them in there, then you can actually use it offline as well. You don't necessarily have to be connected to the internet. Once you've got your information in there and downloaded the pattern in there, you don't necessarily have to be connected to the internet.
That's right.
So
and it connects to Ravelry too. So
yes,
whatever you have in your library in Ravelry
for, though.
you need it to bring the pattern in, but once the pattern is in and you've started your project, then you don't need to be on the internet again. So
no, but if you want, because you can access Ravelry through it, but for that you do have to be on the internet. And I know there's a lot of questions in here about it. We can't possibly go through them all tonight, but what I would say is Very Pink Knits has some really good tutorials that start right at like beginning and go through. And that's, I think, where I learned a lot of the things that it could do is through the tutorials by Very Pink Knits. So I would suggest taking a look at those, and then,
and start with the free version. See if it's for you.
Yeah. So, okay. So yay.
Yay, they're done.
They're done. These are done. So these are my first pair of Christmas socks for Christmas 2024. So these ones are Aragorn. And just a minute, I'll bring up the
sorry. Yeah.
So it's Aragorn by Janique Matt, who is Moonwise, and she does a lot of Lord of the Rings patterns. This one is actually a free pattern. These were
they tested you.
They took some time. They did. And the other day we were going out for coffee, my first time out for coffee since I had my surgery. So that was nice. But the day before I had worked on these, and I had done, I was on the last one, and I was bound and determined I wanted these done for this week. But so if you can see here, right here, this is where you start increasing for the gusset. So you keep increasing down to like right there where those cables go. I had done all of that and then went to the pattern and found out I was supposed to be slipping stitches in the back of the heel. And I had done that on the first sock and totally forgot. So I had to rip out all of that with the cables and the twisted stitches and all the increases. And I thought at that point, I'm just like, I can't even look at it. So I couldn't even take it to knitting on Saturday. I just was like, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to finish these socks. So I did get it all back on. And actually today I knit the whole foot today. So I didn't hardly knit on anything else. I did the whole foot today. So I'm glad they're done. I do really like them. I really do like how this yarn looks. I did not enjoy working with this yarn. This is Rowan sock yarn. So I believe it's relatively new. I think this color is called Citrine. I thought before that it was called Jewel. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's called Citrine. It's a single ply, so I found it very splitty. So I didn't find it was the best yarn when you're doing all of these cables. And I do all my cabling without a needle. So, and then, if it's not cables, it was twisted stitches. Because even on the whole back of the sock here, sorry, am I pointing to the right stuff? Like all of this, even the back of the sock on the way down is all like knit 2, purl 1, but all the knits are twisted. So like until you get to the sole of this sock, there are no knit stitches that are not twisted. So,
and it's a man's sock, so 72
and it's a man's
stitches.
sock. It's 72 stitches. I thought that I was going to run out of yarn, and I actually ordered another ball, and I maybe had a gram left. So,
so you didn't actually run out?
No, and I didn't get the other ball yet, so I wouldn't have been finished if I had ran out. But anyway, so that's pair number one. For pair number two, I'm looking for something a little bit easier, but I honestly do think that these would have been a lot easier in a different yarn. So,
well, I think you should make.
But I do like the yarn.
You should make your pair in the other color, or in the other ball, so that you and Ross have the same color.
I might, but I will not do
kind of
this
like
pattern.
The king socks. Well, no, not right yet, but then you'll have the same color, the king and the queen socks.
Yeah. So anyways, glad that those are done. So I will put those away now. And these are like pretty tall too. And again, that was because the way this is knit, you go down so far, and then where this point comes is where you start increasing for the gusset. So you increase, and you're building this gusset into the front of the sock. So then once you do that, you turn your heel, and then you work across in short rows to incorporate all of these stitches back into the. So I don't know if that's similar to what you did.
Yeah, it is. It's actually, I was just thinking that when we were looking at it, is kind of similar the way it goes across this way. It's a really good fit too. It does.
Yeah. And it's like, it's more reminiscent of a heel flap and gusset in the room that you get in it, as opposed to like doing an afterthought heel or a short row heel. But it's different in the fact that you don't have to pick up stitches, right? You are still going back and forth when you turn the heel, but you don't, and you are still going back and forth. And I think you probably were too on yours, right? You're going back and forth when you're incorporating all these stitches back into the.
Yes. And then there's no stitches.
You were going in the opposite direction from me, because I was going top down and you were going toe up.
Toe up. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so happy that those are done.
I bet.
So I got to pick the next pair. That'll be a new start for next week.
Okay. And then my next finish, I was just going to check something because my scale happened to be sitting here so I could tell you how much yarn I used. Just a minute. Okay. I see. So, I finished my Deep Dean pullover, and I don't have any pictures of it because it was a gray day today. So I took it off the blockers this morning. I finished it yesterday morning, took it off the blockers today. I'm really happy with it. Really happy. I have tried it on now that it's all finished. Good. The colors are really good. So I did change up the pattern ever so slightly. Oh, and I wanted to say how much I used. So this is what I have left from my third ball. So this is 30 grams. So I used 270 grams to do this. And so I think it's really efficient. And I made mine longer. So there were the pattern repeat on the body is 1.5 times. I went a full 2 times on the body. And then I did switch it up a little bit in that I made a split hem.
Or split hem.
Which I just kind of, I wanted that. And then I made the sleeves, I think a little, or no, actually the sleeves are a little bit shorter. Mine are a bracelet length. And the pattern did call for it to be not decreased, but I did decrease it a little bit. So there's still, it's meant to be a looser sleeve. It's not meant to be like a tight fitted cuff. So mine is still a little bit looser, but just, I did decrease, I think about 10 stitches down the length. And things that I love about the pattern is, of course, how engaging it was. It kept your interest through the entire sweater because you're doing something different all along. Something else that Beth does, and she does this often, and I like it, is she puts, there's the, I quit wearing lip gloss, I swear. She puts the short row shaping in the back rib up at the neck. I really like that because then you I don't know, for me, it just seems to blend into the sweater better. And then she had some more shaping at the bottom rib. And this yarn is the Estelle Eco DK.
Tweed DK.
Eco Tweed DK, yes. So it is a very small nep tweed, I guess you'd call it that. Nice. It's really integrated. So none of the neps are popping off of the garment for me to pick off, because that's a nasty habit I have with a tweed yarn. So I like something to be really well integrated. But again, I really, really like it. I did struggle to get gauge with this. I had to go down some needle sizes to get gauge. But once I got gauge, boy, it was away at the races. And I really, really like this yarn. I would use this yarn again. I would knit this sweater again. It's a win-win.
It's a fun sweater to knit because you're right. You're always changing. It's always into a new stitch pattern. And like even down here, it was fun to knit, to see the pattern develop.
The pattern never ended.
Pearls. Yep. And the pattern has been released.
Yes. Yes, it has.
Yep. So
the other thing too is that it just kind of feels like that comfortable sweatshirty feel of a sweater. So I mean, this can go easily against skin. It's very soft, or I could throw this over a denim shirt if I wanted a little bit of a tail. So it sort of sits, trying to remember what I had on when I was looking. It's around like hip length for me. So just, I'm sure I could still wear it with a dress, but I actually made it longer because I wanted to wear it with jeans. So anyway, I'm very happy with it. So I test knit this for Beth, and I was just a little late getting my test knit done because I think I was supposed to be finished by the end of January, and I finished yesterday on the 12th of February. So yep, I was a bit late. Worst test knitter ever. Okay.
So my final finished object. We're talking about Valentine's Day. So I decided that for the girls, I would make them this heart drawstring pouch. And I do have a picture here. There we go. So this is a free pattern. It's by Viv Crochet. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's just this cute little pouch. So I thought, well, why not make some for the girls? I mean, I have to make 4, but anyway,
it's adorable. It's really cute.
It is really cute. And I thought, I've just got them a few chocolates. And so here's my version. So instead of the drawstring, because I thought they can't tie, right? So instead of the drawstring, when I got to the end, instead of going forward and doing the couple more rounds that you put the holes in, I just did a chain stitch across, joined it to the other side, and then went back, excuse me, and did double crochet all the way back to have this little handle. And then, so that one, this one's got little chocolates in it.
Oh, I like that.
They've got their little chocolates. So I've got 2 done.
Yeah, that would just slide over their wrist.
Yeah, another one started. Really quick and easy to do. Yeah, and I think they'll like them. And they're always carrying around little toys and stuff. So it gives them something just to put in there. And these I did with, it's Barocco vintage. So it's Aran weight yarn. I hadn't crocheted in like ages. So like the first heart took me like forever. I'm like, if this is how long it takes to make one heart, I am never going to get these done. But once I got the hang of it, it was really, I honestly think that might be the first granny square I've ever done though.
Really?
I do not think I've crocheted, but I do not think I've done granny squares. So anyway, so these ones, that one's just the coral and the white, and this one was the white and the coral, and then this one is just this really pale pink with the coral. Pretty. So I've got half of that done. I've got another half of one to do, but now that I know what I'm doing, I can do it really quickly. So I'll have those ready to give them for tomorrow. So, but it was just a cute little break from the socks.
Yes. Yeah. You wanted to celebrate being done those socks.
No, and I didn't want to give them too much chocolate, but then if you put it in like a little something that they can use after, and like I said, they're always carrying around like little tiny stuffies or dolls that I know they'll think that that's nice to put them in. And then Declan has I've got a little sweater that I finished previously but haven't given to him yet, and it's got a little heart tag sewn on it. So, and speaking of him, last week I didn't have the picture wouldn't come up, so here's the picture of the little feet in the hand spun socks.
Or you mean the not so little feet in the hand
spun? The not so little feet, I know. Anyway, so those are the perfect newborn socks, which I actually did a little bit bigger because his feet are a little bit longer.
Yes.
So,
and it is the softest hand spun I think I have ever felt.
Well, it was
did Did you say it was
Malabrigo
Rowan?
new. So
Oh,
it's 100.
Malabrigo.
No,
Yeah.
Malabrigo new, but it was 100% merino. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Very
So
nice.
that's my final finish.
Okay.
So, got lots of starts, but we'll do a giveaway first.
Yes. So I decided I made a little something for some lucky people here tonight too. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these. I kind of hinted them in my stories, but I'll show you what I made. I made some little Scrappy heart
Those are
pouches.
so cute. Those are so cute.
So I just,
those are cute.
They're really cute, and they were so fun and addictive. So there's like a pinky purple. There is a peach.
Oh, that's pretty.
And a turquoise. Just scrappy scraps. This one I quite like. This is the red and the purple and the gray. Just really fun. And then there's this one that is pink. This is metallic. This is metallic. Actually, I think this is. I think you have a bag.
I do. I have a bag, and it is.
You have a bag in that I made, and then it's got it's green in there as well. So what I was thinking is that I will give 2 of them away to 2 lucky viewers tonight, and we'll add this to the stage. We've all played this game before. So I'll give 2 away tonight, and then we'll save 2 for the people who watch after the show. So we'll have something in the comments for them. So if you are interested to have a little Valentine's pouch from me, then type in #Valentine, and we'll let that go for a few minutes. And then we will let the little tool do its thing. So it was really fun to get back to the sewing again. I'm not going to lie. It was fun to play with scraps. The turning point on these little hearts is a bit tricky, not going to lie, and it's probably not, don't have high expectations. This may not be some of my best sewing work, but I had so much fun, and they are truly gifted from my heart to yours. So anyway, I think they are cute, and they are a fun little notions pouch, and they do open really wide. So if you've got some goodies in there, I mean, they would hold chocolates too. They don't have to be used as a notions pouch. You could put whatever you can fit in there. A change purse, maybe in your wallet. I don't know.
Emergency chocolate.
Emergency chocolate. Yes. Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, they were really fun. And I also have to say, it did not make a dent in my scrap pile. I have these like little tiny bins that are overstuffed with all the scraps, and it was just really fun to go through and pull everything out. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to let that run for another few seconds. And while that's going, maybe this is a good time. So type in #Valentine from your keyboard. And maybe this is a good time to chat about this, which is Streamyard, which is the tool that we're using. Streamyard is the platform that we use for our podcast. And they have this lovely little tool that we can use to do these giveaways for everyone. And it isn't just for streaming, so you don't have to just be a podcaster. Noelle and I use our Streamyard for other things as well. We get together with friends. You can use it sort of like a Zoom call. I find the platform a little bit easier to use than Zoom. Whoops, I should take that off. There we go. And it's just a fantastic company to partner up with, and they have sponsored our channel for this year again, and we're very, very thankful. If you are interested in checking them out, there is a free version, so you don't have to commit to anything. And if you are interested to sign up to some of their paid programs, there's a referral link that we have each week and in our show notes, and that gives you a little bit of a bonus, and I think it gives us a referral credit as well. But anyway, feel free to take advantage. They are a fantastic company, and they are constantly coming up with new things for us to do with the podcast. Okay, I think we've got everybody in there now. The numbers, so I'll give you just a few more seconds to enter #Valentine, and I'm going to pop out and do the draw. Okay, are we ready?
Okay.
Here we go. It's 285 entries. Vadek.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm going to do the second draw right now, and then I'll have each of you can just type in, I'll show them again, and you can type in which one you will like, and that's the one I will send out to you. So I'll go back out and I'll do the draw one more time. Here we go. A couple more entries have been in there in the meantime. 287 now. Good luck. Kathy R. Congratulations, Kathy R. Okay, so just remove that from the screen. Go back to this. Whoops. I removed you.
There we go.
I was going to go here and put our email address in, but anyway, okay. So here are, if you can pop that in for me. So here are your options. Yep. There was the sort of pink and lavender. There is a peach and turquoise. There is a red, black, and a little bit of purple, or there is a pale pink and green. So if you want to let us know, ladies, which one you would like, those are the two that I'll pop out. And then we'll just need you to send along a mailing address to me, and I can get those in the mail to you. They're cute. They're cute. I would make them again. Cute. Very cute. And then for the other two, as I said, we will give those away next week on the podcast, the two that are left. And what should we do for the comments? Should we just put the you come up with an idea. What do we want to put in the comments, Noelle?
I don't know. But they can just tell us what they're working on.
Okay, very good. Sarah's asking if there's a pattern for this. It's I mean, I've seen a few of them on Instagram. I don't really know that there's a pattern. I can tell you the dimensions. My heart that I used that I drew a template for is 5.5 inches tall. So if that helps you out at all, and they are lined. So I basically put the zipper in and then cut the heart shape out, or traced it out onto the two sets, and then stitched everything together. And that's kind of how it went. So.
Okay, so Kathy R says she wants the first one, whatever that one was.
That was this one, right? The pink and purple. Okay, Kathy R, pink and purple.
And Vadek said red and purple.
Okay. Okay, there we go. So when the show is over, you can feel free to leave a comment below. If you are not Kathy or Valerie, you can leave a comment below and we will draw that for next week. Okay.
So so in the comment, you don't need to put giveaway or anything. Just comment and let us know what you're working on.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have any whips?
No. So here's what I decided. I'm going to take only socks away with me, and I can show you what I'm starting to pack. When we were at Rhinebeck, we went to the Woolen Folk Festival, and Woolens and Nosh was there. Yes. And I haven't knit with her yarn yet, and this is one of the ones I bought, and it's called Pressed Flowers. I think this is really pretty. So as soon as the show is over, I am going to cake this up. I'm going to wind it and throw it in a little bag to take on the plane with me. So I'm going to do this. I have another pattern that I'm going to taking to do 3 pairs. We'll see if I even get 1 pair done. So this, and then the next 2 patterns are patterns by Summer Lee. And boy, wouldn't it be great if I could tell you what they are. I think I can tell you what one is. It's the hibernal DK sock. She just came out with that one last week. And you
I saw that. They're nice.
Yeah. So you use a fingering weight plus a mohair. And I don't have any socks that have mohair in them yet. So that will be a new thing for me. And then her other pattern, I have no clue what the pattern name is. I downloaded it last week and promptly took it out of my brain, but it's a patterned sock, and she's got a little color work motif up around the top part and just under the cuff. So I'm going to choose some colors after the show, pack up 3 little bags, 3 little sets of needles, and away I go. So that will be my whips.
Saying that they just got her book, because she just came out with a book.
Yes, she did. And you know, I've been watching her podcast too. I'm kind of hooked on that too. I like her podcasts. They're a digestible amount of time. They're usually somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. She puts one out every week, and lately she's been putting out a second one. And I do know that the book came out today. It's been on pre-order. I did not get the book. I sort of missed the boat on that one. So it may be something that I look at later. And I know that she's making her way to a few places, doing a little bit of a book tour as well. So yeah, I like her sense of color. You know, she's very bold with her color choices. And a few weeks ago, she released one of her little sidebar podcasts, like not her regular episode, was about her 5 favorite yarns to knit socks with. And I was really kind of happy when Knit Pick Stroll, I think, was her second favorite yarn. And that is what I'm using, to do Natalie's colorwork sock, because I've long time been a fan of using the Stroll. I think it looks great too. So it was really nice to hear somebody that kind of makes a living at knitting socks say that she felt that was really, really a good yarn as well. So it sort of inspired me to dig in there and find some bright colors, because that's what I'm looking for tonight. After this, I'm going to look for some nice bright pops of color, and that's what I'm going to put together to take away with me. So okay. What are you working on?
Oh, I am working on, okay, these are ones that I started last week. So these are the cocktail fingerless mitts. So that's a pattern picture. It's a free pattern by Heidi Heinrichs. So I have one done.
It's so pretty and fluffy looking.
So mine is done in Hedgehog Fibers Cashmere Merino. So it's like a heavy lace weight or a light fingering weight. So I did adjust the pattern a little bit. I did more rib here because I only called for 10 rows. I did 20. I really like the little detail. Like, it's really just pretty. And then you've got a little bit of lace detail going up to your thumb. And then this would have ended like sooner, but I just did them a little bit longer. And I mean, it only took, this is the first one, I think it took like 12 to 13 grams of yarn. So I had lots of yarn and it just feels, it's just the yarn. I love the yarn. The yarn is just so nice and soft. And well, I forget the composition, between the cashmere and but it feels amazing between the cashmere and the merino. And this colorway is called Whisper.
It's such a pretty, it's very delicate and it's very dressy. Yeah. It's really nice.
And just, I mean, they're not going to be super warm, but they're pretty.
But they're pretty. They won't keep me warm, but I'll look good in them.
That's right. They're pretty. And then my second one last week, when I showed my distant scarf and showed the picture of it, I had a mistake. Well, I had to fix that immediately. Fix that. I had to fix that before I went to bed that night because I could not sleep thinking about that crossed cable. Yes. So here's the pattern, what the pattern looks like. This is a pattern by Olga Patano. And this is the fingering weight version. She also does it in a DK weight version. And it's very reminiscent, like the length of the scarf is very reminiscent of the Sophie scarf.
It's so I've gotten a little
bit farther. I've corrected my mistake, and and I just love the pattern, and I like doing it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just, and this is done in the Katja Atenia, which is, I believe, it's got some cashmere in it. It's got cotton in it. It's fluffy and soft, but you don't get as much of the fluff coming off as you do with mohair. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that the stitch definition is working out really well in it. So, and this yarn, 25 gram ball will do the whole scarf. So I can see, I wouldn't mind doing some of those and just have them put away like in the Christmas gift pile too. Mm-hmm. So. Okay.
Very nice.
That's 2. I've worked a little bit more on my Rockhound vest. This is a pattern by Wool and Pine. And I've gotten it to the point now where I was actually able to try it on. So it's all joined up. I've got the V, I've got the arms, I put it on. It's good distance between here and my underarm. So basically now all I've got to do is like knit down. But you're doing, this is another example where Knit Companion for the chart, because here's your chart on the back, right? So I would have, you've got like different patterns going on in different columns. So if I didn't have Knit Companion to kind of follow that along, I would be mixed up. Plus, not only is it on here, it's on the front. And because of the sizing and how the V is shaped, you are not on the same row on the front as you are on the back. So if I was just doing that from a paper pattern, I would be this way. I've got my charts in there. I've got the front and the back, and I don't have to worry about which row am I on for this size or for this side and which row for this side. So in Knit Companion, I've got it sorted out and I know exactly where I am when I go back to it. This yarn is the Fonte Mongolia 3. This is yarn that Kelly and I got at Knit City, Montreal. It is a merino yak blend. And I just love
it's gorgeous.
The color in it. It's a sport weight yarn. Comes in beautiful colors. They've got a gorgeous pink that's very similar to what your sweater's done into. So that might be something to look for because they are going to be in Toronto.
They are going to be in Toronto at Knit City. Yes.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got. Okay. And then I needed to, I was, like I said, I've been sitting on the couch and I don't know, I just needed something bright. So back to our favorite pattern, the Riptide 135. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do here?
Well, you did give yours away. So
I did give mine away, so I don't have one. So I started this one, but in hand spun.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That is a gorgeous color. It needs to be
blocked out. So here's my ball of hand spun yarn. And this is 100% Cheviot. So it's actually a little bit rustic, but I'm hoping, and I think it will, once I block it out, it will, and I'm not sensitive to yarn anyway, so it won't matter, but I'm just hoping, like this pattern really opens up once you block it out. It's kind of hard to see it when you're, but anyway, I'm really liking the color changes and it was just nice and bright.
It's really pretty, really pretty.
So, okay.
And then will you have enough to do the gloves too?
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Yes, because I've got 120 grams. So yes, there'll be lots to do the gloves too. Okay, and then I'm still working on.
It's been the week of 100 cast-ons.
My bluebell sweater that I showed last week. This is a pattern by Venka Rold, who is also the pattern designer behind the Wilfreda, which Kelly and I have both done. So here's a picture of the bluebell sweater. Mm-hmm. And it's got a textured yoke. And then just, again, you go into the plain stocking stitch in the body. And I did put a picture in here of what mine looks like so far. So mine is done in, and I do have it here. It is done in Odd Cat yarns. It is a Tencel silk or lace weight base that I held with, it's called Blink, and it is a mohair by Heidi's by hand, who is in Mahone Bay in Nova Scotia. So it's yarn I got in Nova Scotia. So I'm down past the yoke. So I've got all the fun stuff done up here. And this was fun too. There's this lateral braid that goes across here too. So that was fun to do. And so now it's at the point too, where it's just into the stocking stitch.
And it's such a light sweater. Like when you had it at the coffee shop on the weekend, like it's just, it's a dream. It's gonna be like you won't even know you're wearing anything.
No, it's so light. It's gonna take less than 100 grams of lace weight and less than 100 grams of mohair. So yeah, it's gonna be a super light sweater. Okay, and then I had to cast on something else. So
because you had 10 spare minutes.
Both got some new yarn this week, and I ended up casting on the Mimi by Tricot Designs, and I do have a picture of the pattern. So here is the pattern. It's by Tricot Design MCL, and it's it's a like long sleeve, but it's got this cute little ruffle up at the top, and I have started it, and here's mine so far. So I've got kind of like the yoke done and the ruffles done, but the body is underneath that, and I'll show you it in a minute. But this is the new yarn from Holstgarn. So here's
this was purely for research, friends. Okay. Purely for research.
So this is like, look at that color. It's just
I know, gorgeous. Because I have that color too. It's absolutely gorgeous.
But anyway, as back to the sweater construction. So the sweater's construction, you do the neckband, you knit here, and then you increase a bunch of stitches and you put them onto 2 different needles for your ruffle and for the body. So the body is underneath, already worked. So it's not like you have to go back, and you don't have to go back and pick up stitches after. Of course, you're supposed to do the ruffle at the end, but I wanted to do the ruffle, so I just got so far, and then I went back and did the ruffle. But this is done in this is Coast, and I believe our Coast color was burnt orange. Am I right?
No, you're not. It's saffron.
Oh, saffron. Okay.
Yes. So this is the Coast saffron color.
And then this is their new yarn, Lucia or Lucia. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So I'm almost done the first little cake here, but this is papaya.
Papaya.
And Kelly's got the composition of the yarn there on her ball band.
Yes. So it is 42% baby alpaca, 35% mulberry silk, 13% fine merino, and 10% yak. And the yak is what gives it that beautiful brown, deep undertone. And it is 100% dreamy. It is the softest thing ever.
It just feels amazing. And the fabric that this creates together is like,
So this is a good mohair alternative for those of you that have sensitivities with mohair. So this is why we bought it, because we thought, you know what, we have to do the testing for you. We want to make sure that it's going to be good for you. So, but we didn't just buy one color. Oh no, that would be silly. No. Do you have your other colors there? Are we going to show that after?
Well, I'm just going to say, I'm loving knitting this. I think that it's really well designed in the way that the ruffle goes on it. And like I said, now I'm at the boring part, but this absolutely feels amazing to knit with. So that's the Coast that we're holding with it. And again, like this is a perfect pairings from their site. Like they give you the names of yarns that that work well together. So even when you hold them, you can see they're not exact, but then when you put them together, it's gorgeous. It just blends beautifully.
Yes.
So
Nick, you're welcome. She says, thank you for our sacrifice. Yes. So it was just terrible to have to go through that. No, it wasn't. We're having fun. We liked it so much that we placed 2 orders, because we ordered the one color, and then we ordered multiple colors. And then I said, oh gosh, I was really stuck on that papaya color. And
and I was looking at it too, and I thought, no, and I know.
So we, are you done showing? Because we can show the other colors we got too.
Yes.
So I'll show you my next color. So I went with something dark that I wouldn't normally go with, but so I already had one cake of this, which is the super soft slate gray. And then they suggested pairing it with, what's this one called? Ball band is, anthracite. So that one's pretty close. Like that's closer, I think, than the papaya. So but I have a couple of sweater options that I was thinking on with this. I just think having that nice dark charcoaly gray would be really good. So that was another option I got. And then the other one, and I already had this cone of super soft, which is the silver gray. And then they suggested using Mistral, which is a blue gray, but I can imagine how beautiful that's going to be together. It's going to be really, really good. So yeah. And then what other colors did you get?
Didn't you get a light gray too? Or you got that.
This is the light gray.
Okay. Okay. Because it does look more blue, especially when you hold it up against
it. It definitely looks blue. But I think when you knit it up with the gray, I think it's really going to be just that like cool hint of a blue. I think it's beautiful.
Okay, Rosemary had asked what gauge I'm getting with the Lucia and the Coast. I'm getting about 19 and a half, 20 stitches. So the pattern actually calls for 18. So I'm just adjusting the pattern because I went up to a bigger needle. I'm on a 4.5 millimeter needle. I went up to a bigger needle and I didn't like the look of the fabric. I like the fabric better on the 4.5. So I'm adjusting the pattern to fit that. So, okay. So this is another color that I got, and this is the Pacific. So I have got a cone of Glacier. I don't have it down here, but a cone of Glacier, super soft. And this was one of the perfect pairs for that. But I've also got some River.
I was going to say that I think
would look really good with it too.
Oh, my River's upstairs because I'm knitting with it. But yeah, it definitely would be a good match for River because this is the stone wash in the Titicaca, but it's similar. So that would be a really good pairing as well. Yes, for sure.
So I got that one. And then I have Coast in the lavender, and this color is called Celeste, and it's like a grayish lavender, and I think that's so pretty.
I looked at that one too. We couldn't help it. It was so pretty.
I really got into the research.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And then this one is called Rouge, and this one, I actually bought the Coast to go with it. So the Coast is called Rosewood, and the Lucia is called. What I want to do, I think it would make a gorgeous spring cardigan because it's nice and light. Like the weight of the garment that you make is going to be light with it, but I think you'd still get some nice warmth with it. And I don't know.
I think that one would also look really good with this one, which the name is now escaping me again.
Red Currant.
Red currant. Thank you. Yes.
So anyway, So excited about using more
something
of those.
New and different. So. Yes. Yeah. I'm excited about trying it out too. I'll be doing that when I get back. So there were just a couple of questions in here. Nick wanted to know what was the name of this pattern sock I held up. So this is what I'm making my Advent project. This is Natalie Remembrances Pottery pattern, Natalie Sheldon, and it is called Cozy Quilt Sock. So there are 2 more bands of quilts before I get into doing the heel. And I'm using all stroll sock, except this cream color is Sock Ease from Lion Brand, but everything else is a stroll colorway. It's very, very soft. And I mean, this is not blocked or anything yet, but I still think it's pretty consistent for stitches, for color work. And this was
the balls are the Lucia balls are 25 grams and the yardage is
200 meters.
200, yeah. So it says on the site, that you can knit it like with a single strand at 23 stitches, but I think that might be kind of loose. You'd have to do, if you plan to knit it without holding it with something, you definitely need to do a swatch and just see. It depends how you like your fabric, whether you like it more open. Like I said, when I did mine, I could have gone to the 5, but that was just a little bit too open for me. I liked it better at the 4.5. So, but it is definitely adds more. It adds more density to your fabric than a mohair or the Titicaca for sure, because the Titicaca is a definite lace weight. So
Paula asked earlier when we were talking about the socks with the mohair, what would the weight of that be? So when you have a fingering and a mohair held together, that becomes a DK. Maybe on the lighter side, a DK, but still definitely.
Well, it depends. It depends when you're talking about it.
Depends on what the fingering weight is. Yeah.
But you're obviously probably going to knit your sock at a tighter gauge than what you're going to knit a sweater. So, so like I said, like I'm using a lot of times I use a mohair and a fingering on like a 4.5 or a 5. But if you were going to do a sock, you would probably be on like a 3.5 or something, or maybe less. I don't know what your pattern calls for.
3.25, I think the pattern calls for.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously then you're going to get a different gauge with that than you are if you were doing a garment. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And
so,
then just one second.
Go ahead.
Going back to when we were chatting about Knit Companion, this was something that I forgot about, but this is kind of cool too. You can track your time. So Barbara reminds us that when somebody asks you how long it took you to make something, you can look in your knit companion and it will actually show you the length of time that it took you to make that project, how many hours you put into it, which is it's just kind of a geeky, nerdy thing to know, but it's kind of cool as well. So, okay.
Okay, so one last thing that I wanted to show. This is Kelly made me this dress, and I kept meaning to bring it down and show it, and then it would get to podcast time, and I'm like, I can't put my leg on and go upstairs again. So, but I did. What I did do is I got it down, but I also went through my yarn stash to look for some yarns that would look good with it.
So, I bet you have absolutely nothing to wear it with, or nothing to knit it.
You know what? All the pink sweaters that I have are not the right pink.
Oh,
goodness. They are seriously not the right pink. So this is a hinterland dress, and this is, I forget what was it called? Carnation pink?
Carnation. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like so pretty. So I want to have both like a short sweater and a cardigan to go with it. But I'm thinking.
Oh, see, that's pretty perfect, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
So that would go with it. And then I was also looking at the yarn that I've got, this Care in this baby doll colorway has got the same pink in it. So that would look cute and a little ranunculus to go over the top of it.
Yes.
And then I also had this. So
that's pretty.
This is Foxy Lady by Farmer's Daughter Yarns. And this is a merino silk blend. And I thought that would make a really nice cardigan to go over it.
That is really pretty.
So
yes.
So now I have other plans of things that I have to cast on to go with it. But I love the dress. I tried it on. It fits perfectly. I don't have a sweater that'll go underneath it at this point that matches it perfectly. So I have to make something, but it would look nice. I find that hard to believe with
all of the pink sweaters that you have. I find
you
it really hard to believe.
You would be surprised, but they're all just not quite the right pink. That's just how many pinks there are out there.
Yep.
So. Oh, Barb wants to know when I can live life normally.
Yes.
I get 2 more weeks, I get the pins out, and then I can start putting some weight on my foot. So it's not, and I mean, I can get around on the main floor fine. It's just, I've got this leg that you attach. It's called I Walk, and it's fine, but it's just, you're slowed down a bit and it takes time to go upstairs and downstairs. And so, and if you want to sit down, you have to take it off. So it's always like, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. But anyway.
A few people have pointed out that the sweater you're wearing would go really well with the dress.
Yeah. And this sweater would probably, and I'd have the long skirt out underneath it. So yeah, it would go nice with it too. But I was just looking at the pinks, and when you put the exact same color with it, then you can really see if it's off a bit. But if you've got something that's got something else in it, then it's easier to match it. So
yeah, very good.
But yeah, so looking forward to wearing that in springtime. And once my feet are good, maybe I'll get pink shoes to go with it. Maybe I'll get pink clogs.
There you go. There you go. Actually, I have clog sandals that I think are almost a perfect match. It was a blush pink, and it's almost a perfect match to that dress. So Jackie is just popping in, and she wanted to say thank you again for the Smash the Stash grand prize. She's the one that won the Delaque bag, and she's enjoying her bag very much, she says. So okay, all right, let's just before we wrap this up, let's have a little chat about the Makealongs that we have going on. So we, as always, for a few years now, we're running our sock along again. So same rules as other years. Finish socks, enter them in the Ravelry sock along. We draw 2 prizes each month, a pattern prize and a sock yarn prize. And we are hoping to get to 3,000 pairs. This year we were only about 9 pairs short last year. So I have every faith imaginable that we are going to get there. Okay. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Okay, so the next one is our Advent along. So that is what my first pair of socks is finished for, but you don't have to do like a pair of socks every month. It's something that you can split your project up so that you're doing a little bit every month. And then when we get to December, you don't have to rush and get everything done. So you're already prepared.
I'm actually only doing 1 pair of socks for the whole year.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a few bands each month and some heels and toes in there so that I will have my pair ready to go in December.
So there will not be a finished object thread until December, and then you can put what you've got finished in there. So for this, we are actually allowing you to put in projects that were started from December 1st, 2023, and then throughout the year. So even if you haven't started now, you can still join in. But yeah, we just, hope that if you do some of the things this way, it makes December a lot less hectic. So I'm still thinking I'm going to have a lot to do in December.
Oh, probably, for sure.
But now that that first pair of socks is done, I need to get inspired and get knitting faster. So.
And then the third one that we have going on until the end of the March is the vest slipover make along, which I think we jokingly called Make a Vest, Give Sleeves a Rest. And right. I am thrilled with how many of you have jumped on the vest train or slipover train. There are already quite a few finishes in there, and the chat when we come in here on Tuesday nights is full of chatter about people making different vests and slipovers, and I'm thrilled to see that because I am here for the vest. I think there are so many great uses for it, and I have oh my goodness, I have the yawns tonight. That's what I have. But I have already a couple of vests in my wardrobe, and I constantly am finding new ways to use them and integrate them into my daily wardrobe. And I think if you haven't made one, this is a really great opportunity to give it a try. You've still got lots of time to get one finished. You've got a month and a half, and then we'll be drawing, I don't know what the prize is yet, but we will be having a prize for one lucky winner who completes a vest by March 31st.
Yeah, and they're a perfect project. They're even a lot of the ones that are just plain stocking stitch are really a good first project. Like if you haven't done a sweater, because you don't have to worry about doing the sleeves. It's less yarn, it's less knitting. Rachel, my daughter-in-law, actually, she started the Stockholm slipover, so inspired her to do a vest. So yeah, so I think it's a vest is probably a nice project before you do a sweater if you haven't done a sweater before, but and you can get a lot of wear out of it. So
okay. Last quick question I will answer is, I just saw it here in the comments. I can answer it quickly. Linda is asking about the hinterland dresses. When I make them, do I make them true to size or do I size down? I do think, I'm pretty sure Noelle's was true to size. I know when I started making them for myself, I did size down because I felt once it got like into the larger sizes, I felt there was too much accommodation. Because I have a bigger frame, but maybe not the bigger bust to go with it. And one thing I do with all of the hinterland dresses is I raise the neckline. I did on Noelle's, I do on mine. I do find that maybe it's just a little deep for my liking, my personal liking. Anybody else may like that. And then the other thing that I like to do with the hinterland dresses is I add more fabric to the skirts. So, typically you've got some excess there anyway. I like to add anywhere from 6 to 12 inches to the front and the back as well, just because I like that little bit of an extra flowy volume. So hopefully that's helpful. Find an old piece of fabric and just do the bodice to make sure that you've got that fit down pat. And then once you've got that, you can just play around very easily with the skirt. But yeah, I encourage you to try it. It's a great pattern and there's lots of different ways to make it.
So. Yeah. And lots of different ways to wear it. Like I know that the one that you made me last year in the burgundy, like it's because it's all linen, it's good for the summer with like nothing underneath it. But in the winter, you can put a turtleneck underneath it and a pair of tights, and it's good for winter too. So
yeah, I wear mine really all year too. Yep. So yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all we have. Some more packing to do.
Yeah, you do. I have stuff to put away here.
Yes. Yeah. And then we are off to Toronto. So
okay. So take care, everybody. We hope that everybody has an amazing week and happy Valentine's Day. And don't forget that if you didn't win one of the Valentine pouches tonight, if you want to just go in and leave a comment after the podcast gets posted, just let us know what you're working on and we will draw for those next week before we start.
And while you're in there leaving a comment, we'd be thrilled if you'd give us a thumb up. So, okay. And I will see everybody next week from Saint Martin, which somebody or a few people mentioned. It is an hour later, so it will be 8 o'clock there. It will be definitely dark, so I will have to suss up some lighting once I get there. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and I will see you then.
Yep. We'll see everybody next week. Take care. Happy knitting.